I did, well, I was talking about product knowledge. So learning about the ingredients that's in the product, it was, in business, is gonna be like one of the most important things. So it gives you more information to the client about, like, it makes it look like your experience, you know what's in the product. So for example, one of the things that I would do if a new client walked in with curly hair, and consultation is very important and key to getting the best result for the client. So if a client walked in, the first things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit down and do a quick consultation. That's also in the Aveda when you first meet your client. That's gonna be like key. So client comes in at my salon, I'm gonna sit her down and do a quick consultation. I want to see pictures of, everybody's on their phones nowadays, and everybody has an image of what they want their hair to come out looking like. And just because they say red, or just because they say gold, you don't know what they really see out of the color. So to me, I always ask for like an image so that they can show me and I can see what in this hairstyle that they're liking. And sometimes they see gold and I might see red. You know what I mean? So, or copper and gold are like really close coverage. So I had an incident where one girl, she seen more copper and she showed me the picture and it was gold. As a professional, I'm like seeing gold. So the consultation is gonna be key. So if someone comes in, they show me pictures, I wanna see it. Usually I would like to see 2 or 3 pictures. The first picture is color, or like what they want. The second picture is where they see their self, like growing from, like what is their inspiration? Cause you have people that they maybe want to grow their hair out into something like really big. So for me as a stylist, I specialize in cutting. So I wanna see where their hair is now and where they plan on being. So then I can know how I need to start sculpting the hair to actually get to that place. And so that will be the inspiration picture. Plus on either the inspiration or one of the pictures, you're gonna see their style. So if they are a little bit more like conservative, you don't wanna go too extreme because that's gonna that's not what they wanna do. And so if they show you a picture that they're extreme, they like color and this and that, you're gonna have a fun client and you can kind of be creative with that actual service. So, and then in the picture, you also picking up the lifestyle. So you ask these questions too, so you can actually, if they work out every day and they're trying to get like a blowout, you know what I mean? Their hair is not gonna last over that time. So you wanna make sure that you actually are, what kind of lifestyle do you have? Do you have kids? How much time do you wanna spend in your hair? That's basically what you're asking them. Do you have kids? You have to wake up early in the morning. Do you work out? How much time do you have in your hair? With our hair, sometimes you gotta like wake up in the morning. You still gotta like 2-strand twist it, or you might have to put some stuff on your edges. You might have to spray or mist your hair. You might have to set your hair, especially if you're in front of the camera all day. It's like you need to know like what they're willing to do for their hair. So that all in the consultation, you can get pointers of like what type of client this is, how they want their hair, how much time they're gonna spend in their hair, and what their lifestyle looks like. That ultimately makes it easy for me to actually create a style for this actual client. And so then I always give them the mirror, I turn them around, and I let them see their hair like it is now. Now you can kind of record and take pictures of their hair before and after. You're gonna need that for your own personal social media platform. So I take pictures of before and after so that they actually, they have footage of what their hair looks like before and after too. And usually it depends on the length of the hair and the texture of the hair, but usually more than likely I will wash the hair. I'll actually style the hair, because if it's curly, most of the time, depending on how I cut the hair is depending on what they do to their hair. So if they wear blowouts, they have curly hair, but every now and then they have blowouts, more than likely I'm gonna blow dry the hair out and then cut the hair. That way, if they ever blow out their hair, the lines are really crisp and solid. If they are doing wearing their hair curly, they never blow out their hair, they really only wear their hair curly, then that gives me an idea. This is also gonna be in the consultation. So if they only wear their hair curly, they don't blow out their hair, I know that I can wash their hair, style the hair, and cut the hair in its curly state. That way, when after it's washed, it doesn't shrink up. And then you're cutting more off than what they're expecting, and they see their hair. A person that wears their hair curly, you cut their hair when it's wet, it looks long, and then when it dries up, they feel like you cut too much off. So I go ahead and dry it in its curly state, and then I cut it in its curly state. So they can actually see what the length is when they walk out, like what it's gonna look like in real time when they go home and do it themselves. 90% of the time, 99% of the time, they're happy. They're fine. Especially in the other 10% is depending on whether you did the consultation right, whether you follow the other little steps they right. And the other 10% is also how they felt when they came in, how you greeted them. Greeting is one of the main things that you wanna do when they come in. Greeting them and making them feel like comfortable. And then asking them, cause you know they're in there to get products or service. So, the first thing you do, I don't really take walk-ins. My salon is appointment only. So everybody's already in there, they already looked me up on social media. They already found out who I am before I came in. And from that point, that's how we, that's how I service the client. And then, so that's consultation. That's kind of like a rough draft of what it looks like doing curly hair. I would have to say that you're gonna get in, being in beauty school, you wanna make sure that you practice on everybody's hair type, cause you never know what you may get. And first starting off, I worked in the Aveda salon that I had all different types of clients. So in school, we practiced on blowouts, but we really didn't practice on curly hair. So a lot of that was by trial and error, having a weird client sit in your chair and you have really no idea how to even style their hair. That's why the consultation is gonna be important, just to make it easier for you. Maybe the next time that I come, I can actually bring a model so I can kind of give you an idea of how to do a couple of styles, just in case you do get a client that has curly hair. You know somewhat how to service them, and who knows, this may be your thing. Because curly hair is super easy. Mm-hmm. When you're doing blowouts and straight hair, it makes it easy it's a little harder to hide your mistakes, When you're doing curly hair, you can clean up your mistakes really good, easy, by point cutting and making it layers. A lot of times the styles that I do in the hair, I do more hair sculpting. And so I kind of would like to show you a different method of how to cut and sculpt. My name is Something Natural Hair, and so you can find me on social media platforms and look at the different types of hair I do. It's mainly people all over the world have different texture hair. I do Morocco, definitely Mexico, India. You'd be surprised, how many Indians have super curly hair. Definitely Caucasian hair. It's just so many thick curly volumes of hair, and people will book for you when they feel comfortable with you and feel like they could talk to you and listen and you understand them, and not actually, have a weird vibe about them or whatever. So, anybody have any questions on curly hair while I'm here? I know I talk super fast, and it's super early in the morning, so everybody's still waking up in the morning. But,
so you have, sorry, the intro. So you have a salon, or?
I do.
Okay.
So my salon is in Round Rock.
Okay.
Right now I'm hiring for 3 more stylists.
Okay.
We specialize in curly hair.
Okay.
And, yeah.
When did y'all open?
So the location is new where I'm at now. We did a build out in November, remodeled the, salon, and so we started hiring from that spot in January. So we've been open freshly since January of
Great,
this
how
year.
many people do you have working for you?
4.
And
So-
what do y'all mainly do? You clearly mainly do curly cuts. Do you do any set styles or like braiding or?
Yes, so like, sets, yes. I have all different types of rollers, all different types of like forms of rollers, and people, social media is big right
Do you
now.
wanna put your,
Business up there?
yeah,
Sure. Let's see. I can give you a
cause I
business
do
card.
feel like a lot of people are very interested in cutting their hair. A lot of
My Instagram is on, and I'll have like Google pictures. Yeah.
Do y'all have apprentices or internships at your salon?
Yes, we are like open to apprenticeship, so if you like are interested and just wanna come and see how it feels to be in there, it's a smaller salon, but it's really, really cute, you know? So, and it's a bakery and, next
Where is it
door,
at?
Flores, it's in downtown Round Rock,
Oh,
like
cute.
real close to Round Rock Donuts.
So I know with some salons they do like programs and stuff when like they're looking for stylists where they'll put them like in training first for a few months or etc. Like how do you guys go about with hiring new stylists and such? Is it like a program or?
It's not really so much like a program, but there will be like training. We'll come in on different days, and that once I see what your schedule is like, and you'll come in on certain days. I'll have clients, and then we'll just go through certain services and like blow dries, shampoos, and making sure that you feel comfortable with like accepting clients, and practice showing you a couple different things. I'll kind of like give you a few clients to see how you do, and from there we slowly start like walking you into like having your own clients. I have plenty of clients, so if you started with me, then I'm gonna like refer you the new clients that are walking in. Right now I'm like refusing clients because it's only so much I can do on my books. But if you're interested in like learning or like want to know just different techniques, it is like a smaller environment where you can actually like grow to the level that you're trying to do. Like,
What days are your salon open?
right now I'm open Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday are optional. But Monday through Friday I'm open, and
From what time?
typically from 8:30 to 9:30.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
So you made your products?
Yes.
Sorry, I totally- How long did it take you to come up with this, and how did you go about creating your own products?
Good question. So during COVID, we had to temporarily close our salons. And so it kind of like prompted me to come up with a way to support myself and my family. So I had a lot of time, nothing to do, and I was so used to like being really super busy. So I started first by reconstructing my website, and I finished that, and I was like, well, I need to redo my logo. I started doing my logo. Next thing you know, I started to research chemists that I could actually like talk to and work with about ingredients. And then from there, I started researching manufacturers and distributors. And then from there, I started researching what my labels would look like. So I started creating my own label and like figuring out what type of paper I wanted and what type of bottle I wanted. And then next thing you know, I like had created a whole product.
How did you, I don't mean to be, but like,
Yeah.
how did you fund it? Did you get a business? Like, did you get a loan from the bank, or you had some money? I just.
Yeah, well,
I'm
during
just
the,
interested about that.
yeah, like during the time that COVID hit, we had unemployment.
Yeah,
So instead of like spending it like weirdly, I just used my unemployment and saved it
yeah.
for those months and used that to come up with the idea. Like
Right.
use that for the first orders were small,
Yeah,
and I wanted to see how I could actually like formulate it.
yeah.
And so, from there, it kind of grew into a bigger thing, and then, like, even now, I have a couple, people that are, they're not in stores yet, but they are looking at the ingredients and making sure that they are compliant,
Yeah,
and maybe I will have a position in Whole Foods soon.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Just 'cause we were talking about like loans and stuff like that, and I think it's important to know like, if you wanna start a business, what kind of like, you know how to go about it, sometimes you have to have good credit, you can ask
Absolutely.
investors, or
I'm
you
like-
can just save your money and do it on your own, and then you do have leverage once it's being successful. How long do your haircuts usually take, like?
So, typically from 45 minutes to an hour and 30 minutes.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's, and that's more than likely it's because if I have, it's more time on detangling.
Yeah,
Like, I spend more time on detangling than I do the actual
cause
haircut.
I like your price point on your haircuts, 120, that's a good place to be.
Yeah,
Especially like I tell them that if you do specialize in curly hair, like you can make good money, especially in Austin. I feel
Yeah.
like all the curly hair specialists are like hooked up for months.
yes, and like, right now, I'm like reasonable. My price margin will more than likely move up here in the next little bit. So, yeah, and then it also cuts out like a bunch of like, you know, people like they can't afford it, or this and that. You now have moved your clientele up to like very professional. And they're coming in there for good customer service. They want you to be on time. They want a nice environment. They want a good person doing their hair. They want to feel heard. So if you are being able to like complete and polish all of those things up, then people don't mind paying you for their time and the quality of your work. So that is, you can right here in Austin, you can pretty much, I would say the highest right now would be $325 and like for a haircut.
But it's usually like average like 200, right?
Yeah,
For like
like-
curly.
For curly hair. So yeah, and like I said, I have, my clientele ranges from dentists, doctors, attorneys, judges, and I have a lot of artists. So musicians, painters, right now I have a lot of writers, book authors. So just like different people, you never know who people are, so, you know. Do you have a question?
Yeah. So as someone who wants to like start their own business and I wanna specialize in textured hair and like also men's cuts.
Okay.
What is advice that you give for stylists just in general, textured hair, like the one-on-one, and then also for like a future business owner?
I would say lots of practice, and I would say lots of practice and be confident. Once you realize once you do it for a while, you realize that you know what you're doing and that you bring something different. Everybody is different and bring like a different, something different to your craft. Like there's so many people that do curly hair and I was like trying to think of like,
But they
how
always
I
do it
would-
different.
yeah, like what's gonna be, but it's your personality, it's your style, it's the way that you communicate with your clients. So I would say like, own that in your social media platform. So once you take your pictures and you put yourself out there, do it in a way that is unique and different for you. Sometimes like everybody, when I first started out, it wasn't as cool as it is now to, you know, brand your platform in the way that I did. But I had like one picture up there and it was like slowly, and every now and then I still do like one or two pictures, but like use your own personality and your style and make sure your stuff is polished when you put it out there. Like choose the best pictures of your product and put it out there. But I would say like, there is a lot of like, if you're a barber, like I can have a opening for barber, any type of person that has a different specialty, personality, that has something different to offer. You're in your own lane, basically. So I would say be yourself and brand yourself on being yourself.
So can I ask another like personal question?
Sure.
Just 'cause you switch
Yeah.
over to your brand?
So
Where did you,
interesting.
how far was it from where you were with them to where you went?
Good question. I worked there for 4 years, and when I left, one client followed me. One client followed me.
And you were booked with them solid.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like you came in every day, you had 8 clients.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you didn't have to look for a client. So when I left, I felt like I had learned the education that I had got everything that I could possibly get. And I worked until my contract was over because we signed contracts there, right? And when I left there, the time my spirit was telling me like, it's time. And so when I left there, I went to another salon downtown, and actually it was a booth renter like type salon, but it was commission based. We had to,
Oh, really?
yeah, it was
That's
a
different.
opportunity to have booth rental or commission, and since I was just starting out, I chose commission.
Yeah.
And it was a nice salon. It was downtown by we call it the drag, but it was downtown on Guadalupe, down the street from UT. And the owner of the salon was Olympic track star Saya Richards. She's like hosting it now, but they own the salon, and so I worked in the salon. I got to do a lot of athletes, a lot of different people, build my brand up. I needed to get my feet wet. I really wanted to learn from like different types of salons. So I really say when you come out of school, don't just be dead on like I want to do my own thing, because I feel like when you when you go to the other salons, you're actually picking up skill set. You're watching so many different things, how they talk to their clients. We learned in the Aveda salon, we learned about business. So they would sit us down and like tell us like, this is what our bills cost. This is how much commission you earn from the haircuts. This is what we gotta put back into retail. This is how much we gotta pay in the taxes. This is how much we gotta pay for the employees. So I learned like not only the business portion, but I also learned the styling portion. So I still use that today running my own business. But I went to that salon, I started to like build my clientele up, and I realized that I was paying a lot in commission. Like I was pretty much handing over half of my earnings. So from that point, I was like, okay, now it's still time to go. I like really want to see if I can do this on my own. And the first 2 days that after I left, took the leap of faith, and I left again. And the second day after I left, I made more in the second day than I made in a week.
Damn.
So then I knew I was onto something. No client followed me. I think the one girl that followed me was somebody I would never even thought that would follow me. She followed me there, right? And then from there, I just started like branding, passing out business cards. Everybody that had hair got a business card, you know. I have a ton of them over here because that's like my old-fashioned solid business point. But everybody got a business card. Even to this day, like I'm steady passing out business card, and believe it or not, people find me. And then you do a good work. Word of mouth is like I still feel like it's the best. Because people leave reviews. People are gonna read reviews. They don't know how much money you make. They don't know how good you are. But if they read a review saying that you're good, they're willing to give you a try. So that was like my other source of like doing well. And from there, it just kind of like grew over time, and like word of mouth or like being on different social media platforms that I could use that the people could leave a review.
Yeah.
So then that means that I'm collecting data that says I'm a good person.
And you live in Round Rock?
I live in
Yeah.
Round Rock.
So, are you a commission-based salon now?
We're a commission-based salon. Good commission-based, cause our price point is like really high.
Yeah.
So, and we're still like going over like prices and things based on like what comes in the most. But our price point is really good so that we can give our employees like a really good commission, and the tips are good. Like the tips would be more than what you would be if you're doing it an hour. I've had $60 tips, $100 tips,
Yeah.
and it's just like
Well, cause if you're charging 120, then
Right.
20 an hour.
I would say like, average is like $25 to $40.
How many assistants do you have in your salon right now?
None.
None? So if they're, interested in assisting, would you recommend, like, they're about to go on the floor, but they're
Mhm.
only like 20 weeks in, do you recommend people assisting now, or do you want them more licensed, or what are you looking for?
I would be definitely open to someone like now.
Okay.
Because I feel like they're still learning, they're still fresh.
Yeah.
And they're like open to receiving, so.
You can list.
Yeah, like you can, and you're still enjoying the process, you know?
Yeah. So if they're interested, you said you are open for like somebody to go in and shadow you.
I would definitely be open.
What would be the best way for them to like send you an email or DM, or how do you?
I would say email.
Okay.
Email, I'll take you more seriously. DMs,
Yeah.
I'm in DMs all the time.
Is your
I
email?
think too.
It's like, hey girl, you know me?
Is your email on your Instagram?
Or your website?
It is on, I think it's on everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and I got business cards too, I'll pass out at the end. Has my email and my Instagram on there too. So that's my website. Some of happy clients leaving out. And I have like all kinds of college kids. And it's, you make relationship, that's another thing.
It's fun. That's what I miss about
It's so
salon, is
fun.
like having client relationships. It's a different type of relationship.
It is, like, I have clients that came in when they were in freshmen, going to college, and then I see them with kids, and then they're married, and you like start following them throughout their life. Like, it's crazy. And
Cute. I like these bundles that you have.
so I have, right now I think I have 9 products, but only 8 of them are on there. So I have a shampoo and conditioner that's deep moisturizing. I have a moisturizer that you can leave in your hair as like wash and go. Kind of put some in my hair this morning. I have a curly custard that is moisturizing, but it has like a light crispy hole so you can break it up with your fingers. Hair body butter, a lot of my clients use it on their skin, bathe in it. And then you can also use it in your hair for like moisturizer, for deep like moisturizing. The foam is really light, so if you have curly hair, foam is like, works really good. You can set the hair in the foam and it's still like really light. So I don't know if y'all did like finger coiling. You take it in section, you still use that on every hair. I like, pretty much can use that on every hair type to achieve what I'm trying to do.
We recently were doing like pressing on color. What's your favorite thing to do on like textured hair? How do you approach the color? I'm sure it's different for everyone.
Let's see. Right now I'm loving the clay.
Plain.
Yeah. I love,
What color products do you use?
right now I'm using Matrix, but I'm switching into Moroccan oil. Hair color,
Oh.
yeah. So they have like a lot of cool colors. It's similar to, it's a little similar to Aveda. I think Aveda has more, they have a bigger brand. They have bigger, you know, more color. Moroccan oil is still kind of new, coming out with formulations, but the way that theirs is, you kind of add, like you want blue and you want a little bit of green, you can mix blue and green together. So you can formulate your own colors using their little colors.
So you didn't do color at, was that
No.
Jackson?
So Jackson Reed's, I chose the cutting. So
You chose the cutting.
I chose the cutting.
And then when you went off to the other salon, did you start doing cut and color? Or?
yeah, like I dug back into my beauty school and then I had clients walking in that wanted color.
Yeah,
So I was like, okay, this is more money,
yeah.
you know, so I started to learn different techniques that I could use to like get, you know, pick up those additional clients.
Did you feel like that transition was pretty easy?
It wasn't hard because I was only accepting things that I knew
Yeah.
how to do. So like if someone came in want all over color, everybody could do that, right? If someone wanted highlights, now I still knew how to highlight. I still knew how to like section in is like the
That's what I
main
tell them, because some of them say they just want to do one thing, and I just did color for 10 years, and then I started doing everything. So you never know, like, you should just
thing.
get a
Yeah,
little bit of all all of it in the beginning and then specialize in what you want, but you'll still have it.
Yeah, just
You never
in
know.
case, yeah, cause I was like cutting, and when I seen like my people in color making, you can do 2 clients
I make
and make
$1,000.
yeah, and just 2 clients. While you're letting one process, you already made like $300 to $500. You let that process and you're already on another color. So if you know how to like, if you know just even, and that may be just a couple, now they have so many tips and tricks and stuff you can do to cut off your time in doing color. So, biology is one of the biggest things right now, like painting and sculpting.
Yeah.
Yeah, teasing for like more of the airbrush type of color is really big.
I know you said you specialize in natural hair, so do you do like silk presses and all of that, or is just curly?
So I do silk presses, and the way that that's done, it depends on like what type of client I want. Some people want their hair to like shape, everybody's hair shaped really good, but that's in part of the consultation. I asked them, okay, do you wear your hair curly sometimes? Because if I do a silk press, I could actually damage some of your curls, you know, and it'll be looser. Is that okay with you? You know, and you almost have to get them on film saying like, yes, it's okay, or do it like on the paper, right?
Yeah.
And I still like, you, after a while, you can kind of feel if this person is like, may come back and like, you think they may, that's when you sign a consultation for them to make sure they're covered. But I'll ask them, so you're not concerned about what your curl's gonna look like after you wash this out? Because if I go like heat-wise on your hair, it could definitely damage your curls, and you know, you'll have more. So if you want it straight and you want your curl pattern, then we're not gonna go as hot, or you know, with the heat. We're not gonna go as strong, just so you will be able to maintain your curl and you can wear your hair both ways. So that would probably be, yes, I do, but I am very particular about like explaining it to the client before they actually get their like hair press. But after blow drying and flat ironing, and you know, you have the flat, y'all have Mason Pearsons, and y'all talked about a little bit of that.
We do. We have cruelty free, like, so we don't have like 4 bristle brushes,
Okay.
but we do.
Well, if you have if on that tip, you can actually use the attachment to the blow dryer. And I'll do 90% of my clients use it. I use the attachment to the blow dryer. You can take the powder brush if you need to and go like in there like kind of good. But and then come back in. So my technique is I actually use a flat iron that has a little, like a 1/2 inch flat iron, and I get at the root. And then I follow back through with a larger one to get the ends. That way it's more like precise, and I'm not having to hold that big heated flat iron near their head. So I get like those little, I'm able to get those little wispy pieces behind the neck and like up here really nice with just using that tiny 1/2 inch. And then I'll do it for like 1 inch, and then I'll come through with the big one and just like, you know, smooth over it like that. So when someone sticks their hand in their hair, they're like, oh my God, you got all those little places that usually people don't do. And then the other like pointer would be take smaller sections. Like even if it takes a little longer, it's gonna look cleaner, and like detail and the quality of it's gonna be better. So make sure you take like smaller sections to flat iron and detangle before. It'll save you more time if you do it when the hair is wet. You section it off. Just take small sections and clip everything else away. Detangle tips to the root, and then into the root, and then you'll be like, go through each section with the blow dryer, go, you know, all the way up. Same thing with the flat iron. Clip everything away, take the bottom sections, hit the root, and then the other part, use a bigger size flat iron to larger size to go through it. The process will be more smoother if you do it every time. You do that same technique every time, it's gonna be a smoother process. You're gonna start looking, because that person's gonna tell somebody else that you know what you're doing and they like the way your quality of your services and you can grow your clientele. Just, even if I have somebody in there that's just doing flat irons, if you do it right and the same every time, you'll get the same result. You can just, if someone came in there and just shampooed the same every time, you can grow your clientele. It's consistency. Yeah.
Are you against hot combs?
I'm not, but it's so many, I feel like now there's so many different tools that you can use, like flat irons. It's more the older hot combs, a lot of them don't have the temperature gauge, and it's the metal. So the metal heats up different. You have titanium, you have the little platinum bands, you have steel, you have copper, you know. So each one of those heats up differently. And so to me, to be more like safe and effective, you know, best for the hair, I kind of stay with the flat irons. And like my particular flat irons that I love is, right now, is the Paul Mitchell Crop. That was like my Aveda flat iron that we used. Then they have like smaller ones, and then you can find the even smaller ones like at different stores and, you know, things like that to hit the edges. And even if you have shortcuts, that smaller one, you can get a lot of, like guys sometimes want that, you know, flip up, and you can take it and just bring it back to a smooth and do that in like 5 minutes if you have that tiny one.
And do you like to cut curly hair wet or dry?
It depends on the hair. Like if it's really tight, I'm gonna have to wash it and bring it out. Most of the time, I'm gonna have to wash it and bring it out. They came in, I know the client just washed their hair and it's in perfect form. And I'll ask them, did you just wash your hair? Cause I have people that come in for dry cuts. Did you just wash your hair? You can tell that the curls are sitting like real polished and out, and the ends are just what needs to go. I can go in there and like just cut it in a dry form, like scoped out. They'll show me a picture of what they want. I'll tell them like realistically what that looks like. How much of it are you wanting to keep? Are you going to get out? Or do you actually want it cleaned up and like in a nice shape? They say cleaned up in a nice shape and keep about, you know, this much, that, and they show me a picture. I'll go in there and like do it. If they're like really concerned about their length, I'll turn them around, show them a mirror, saying this is where you are. This is how much I, you know, feel like is gonna be required. Are you okay with this? Or do we need to go less? They'll give me the answer. I can start from there. And real quick on haircuts, if they're growing their hair out, usually people say 8 weeks, but on curly hair, you can push it. Usually I will let them push it up until 12 weeks will be the longest. If you come after 12 weeks, we're now like cutting off like more than what we need to. If you come in 4 to 6 weeks, looks like a shortcut that is, 4 to 6 weeks looks like a shortcut that you're trying to maintain your look. You want to try to maintain the cut, they love what you did, and they want to keep the sides tapered and lined up really nice, and they pretty much like the length. When they come back 4 to 6 weeks, you'll just kind of like be plucking here, tapering this back up, making it real nice and clean. They come in 6 to 8 weeks, the haircut is like changing a little bit. You have more hair that grew out over here, so you're really gonna have to like do a lot more work cleaning that up. Now, if they're growing that hair out and they want this to be longer, you let them grow it out as long as they can without it looking crappy by the time they come back in. And then you kind of like shape it from there, and then let it grow as long as it can, and then shape it from there. And once they see their hair growing, they're gonna know that you know what you're talking about. Any more questions? All right.
We should do a demo, yeah.
Yes, so.
When are you coming back to do
Yes,
that?
I'll have to like come back in, and maybe I can bring a model
Mm-hmm.
and show you different techniques and like maybe let you practice. And I was thinking maybe next time I can grab a couple products here and show you how to use your products that you have here on the curly hair. And I think that, you know, that way when y'all have y'all get to the floor, you already have like some pointers on. Like if someone walks in, you can kind of, you know, play or feel a little bit more comfortable with doing curly hair. Sounds good? Well, thank you guys so much. My name is LaTashia Mitchell, and I'm from Something Natural Hair. Make
sure you follow me on social media though.
Okay.